Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall Psychic all the way from the Gold Coast. I hope you've had an absolutely fantastic week. I know our American friends are still partying on from the 4th of July. We're not exactly partying here in Australia with all the weather events that are going on at the moment. And, you know, we had one of the coldest days I think we've ever had here on the Gold Coast in 100 years, and we shivered through that with heaters going. And, you know, we've got a lot of weather events with flooding and everything like that. Nowhere near me, thankfully, but, you know, it's the fourth time for some people this year that their houses have gone under flood, and my heart does go out to them. I mean, they've got a tough time ahead of them. For the rest of the world, I know that there's been extreme weather events and people are struggling with what's becoming the new normal, you know, living with COVID, and COVID numbers are spiking around the world, and everybody's questioning, well, what did we go through all those lockdowns for and all the restrictions if we're now going to have to live with it and manage this virus in some sort of fashion. Look, I don't know that anybody's got all the answers. I think everybody did the best they could do and made decisions that they thought were the right decisions for the country, for the world at the time. And I suppose somewhere down the line we'll find a few more answers to this, and hopefully we'll get some sort of resolution out of this, that why Mother Nature inflicted this illness on so many people around the world. Was it a wake-up call to ask us to all to sit down, slow down, and sort of think about the world around us? Maybe that was what the message was there. Anyway, the card of the week this week is the World, and it's a very positive card. When I used to do a lot of teaching, people used to light up when they used to see this card, because the first meaning of this card is overseas trip. And for many people, they are able to hop on a plane and go for an overseas trip now that they weren't able to do for a couple of years during COVID. And it's a positive card. It's money, luck, it's the world in the palm of your hand, and it's the card of new opportunities. I always looked at this card as the four different corners of the card is four different opportunities or four different ways that you could go. Maybe it's also indicating north, south, east and west of the compass. So it's a time to sort of really think big, let your mind run wild, sort of, you know, dream big, look at things. Is there possibilities there where you can maybe look at some new opportunities in your life? Have you got the courage to step out of your comfort zone and maybe start to look at bringing new things into your life? You know, we've all been suppressed and repressed for so long with COVID. Maybe it's now time to break those shackles and start to look at something new. So anyway, this week we're going to focus on the astrology as we usually do at this section before we take a couple of calls. And, you know, the sun is in Cancer, and it's a really magical time of the year, particularly for our darling little Cancerian friends. They really are having time to shine at the moment. And for many of them, it's sort of, as much as they don't like the limelight, or outwardly they say they don't like the limelight, they really do revel in and enjoy being the centre of attention and everybody rallying around them and having a little party for their birthday, or popping in with something nice treat to eat or something that makes them feel special. So they really do, underneath all this, as shy as they might seem, they really do enjoy the limelight. And when you think of probably one of the world's most famous Cancers was Princess Diana, and she certainly didn't shy away from the camera, but yet she was nicknamed Shy Di because she was very shy in her personality, but she used her ability to attract the masses to sort of take notice of a cause that may be very dear to her heart. And I know that there was many, many causes that she put her name to and was really passionate about. But if you want to think of a Cancerian, I can't think of a better role model than Princess Diana, being the Cancer that we all most recognised and loved and still miss to this day. We also have Mercury, the planet of communication, is sitting in Cancer at the moment. So most communication should be of a strong nature, but also have a little bit of gentleness, a little bit of loving thrown in there for good measure as well. It's sort of much softer tones in the way that people are communicating with each other at the moment, except for if you're in Russia and, you know, nobody's speaking softly to Vladimir Putin at the moment and his war games, you know, that's still very strong as ever. But in normal everyday life, people are sort of a much more gentle approach to things at the moment. Everybody's sort of just exhaling a little bit and sort of trying to find something nice in their world to sort of be focusing on. Mars, the planet of action and communication, and the planet that really drives us to get out of bed of a morning and make things happen, has moved into the sign of Taurus. Now, when Mars moves into a sign like this, an earth sign, it means it's a time to focus on finances and on the things that are important to us that are going to bring us financial rewards. It's a time of planning. It's a time of setting down our goals for the future. But we also have the drive and the communication here to bring some of these things to fruition, even though they may only be in the very early stages of development with your idea. It's a time to get it down on paper or get your ideas down in some way so that you don't forget them. And that's why I'm alluding to it to being part of communication. Even though Mars doesn't generally rule the planet of communication, that's Mercury's role. Here we're being asked to sort of really communicate, think thoroughly about the ideas and the things that we want to push forward with, the ways that we can improve our financial standing in the community or our own personal finances, or make some long-range plans. Quite often that involves some form of communication. We need to talk to someone, we need to do some research, we need to just formulate our ideas. So it's really important at the moment that we need a really solid plan. It's not the time to be whimsical and just have daydreams. It's a time, if you really think these ideas have got merit and have got legs, then get them down on paper, get your ideas solid, get them formulated. Do a bit more research. Look at how long it's going to take you to activate it or get it off the ground. So there's real time for gain here, particularly on a financial front, and particularly for the next few months. So don't waste this golden opportunity. It's there for each and every one of us. It'll manifest in different ways for each and every one of us. Some people might be finding they're looking to change their job or sort of just improve the bottom line or just rejig their budget, because they're finding with the cost of living going up around the world with the war in Ukraine and weather events and things like that, and coming out of COVID, we've all had to adjust our expectations on timelines and what's actually available in the marketplace for us to purchase. We also have, some people will have opportunities that will come out of nowhere, as if they've come, like a bolt of lightning that you weren't expecting it, or you've got that opportunity for a promotion or a dream job. It doesn't just mean because it's been handed to you that you have to accept it. It's the time where you really should focus on thinking things through very, very carefully, and not just for the short term, for the much longer term. How does this affect you for the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Don't just think about the next 6 months or the next couple of weeks. You've got to start looking at some very, very long range planning here. That's really important and a very important facet of this time that we're living in, and particularly with Mars in Taurus and Uranus, the planet of the opportunity and the unexpected, also sitting in Taurus. We've got a double emphasis on that energy where it can come from nowhere. It can seem as if we need to be sort of focusing on things in a very, very different way. And we need to be sort of looking at a little bit more long-term thinking. If there's one thing that the pandemic has taught us, is that life is very fickle, things can change at a moment's notice, and we need to make sure that we've got a very secure foundation underneath us from which we can grow from, or we can weather a storm from. So it's really important. For those of you that are seeking love, now is actually a very auspicious time for those of you that are seeking love, because we've got Venus, the planet of love and affection, is sitting in Gemini. Now that means it's a time of, lighthearted fun, going out, having fun, enjoying your local environment, stepping out, maybe doing things that you haven't done in a long time, or going to places you've never been to before, or just mixing generally more with like-minded souls and getting out and enjoying what life has to offer. Now, Venus is in Gemini, and it's making what's known as a sextile, or a very easy transit, which means 2 signs away in the zodiac, with Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is the planet of luck, opportunity, expansion. It's sitting in Aries. Now, with Jupiter in Aries making this lovely aspect to Venus, it means you need to expand your horizons. Don't just go to the same places every week and expect that you're going to meet somebody new there, because you're not widening your opportunities. You're not widening the circle and potential of meeting that love of your life. If you start to sort of branch out a little bit, do something a little bit daring, do something that you've never done before, and sort of, take up that special hobby or that interest, or take up that new, night class, or something that you've been promising yourself to do for some time. You need to step out of your comfort zone, because Jupiter here is asking you to really expand those horizons right out and put yourself first. And that's why I suggest to do something you've always wanted to do but never had the time or the opportunity to do. Now is that time to be able to do that. So if we're looking at Jupiter as a standalone situation, Jupiter in Aries is asking all Aries people to get up off the couch. Don't waste this time while Jupiter's in your sign for another 9 months. It's a time when you can really shine. It's a time when people are actually taking notice of you. They're really, really wanting to help you. There could be new work opportunities. There could be new opportunities to spread your wings in ways that you've never imagined before or never thought possible. So please don't waste this. That also applies to the other two fire signs, which are Sagittarius and Leo. If you're looking to embark on a new course or direction or a new job or a new frontier of some kind, now is the time that things should open up a little bit easier for you and become quicker, that you can now start to sort of really expand your horizons at what you want to achieve too. Don't just sort of sit down on the couch and say, I'm waiting for it to come to me because I've put it up on my manifestation board. That's all well and fine, having a manifestation board, but you've got to actively get up and participate in life and make your opportunities happen. We still have Saturn, the planet of discipline, still sitting in Aquarius. So it's still asking us to be disciplined, to be, constructive in our lives, but don't forget to think outside the square. We all have that opportunity to have those light bulb moments where we could have some great inspiration coming our way. So don't waste it. Make sure you've got some way of jotting the message down or recording it on your cell phone or something like that. These ideas will come and go as quickly as a blink of an eye. So you don't want to miss these opportunities as they present themselves. Finally, we still have Pluto, the planet of transformation, is still sitting in Capricorn. He's still in the last, final couple of degrees of moving through Capricorn. We'll be there till 2024. So his role is to try and get governments to shake themselves up and start to find some new solutions to some of the problems that the world is facing at the moment. And I bring into that the war in Ukraine. It is asking world leaders to get together, scratch your head, come up with some new ideas, throw some ideas around. Maybe there's a solution there that you haven't talked about or nobody's thought to discuss yet. There is answers there. Pluto's also asking each and every one of us to take climate change a lot more seriously than what we have. This is why we're having these weather events around the world, because the planet is screaming out. Mother Nature is saying, I've had enough. We all have to look at other ways that we can cut our emissions or take some active roles in helping save our planet and saving it for future generations. I can't emphasize that strongly enough. I know there's many divided groups around the world at whether they believe in climate change or not. It's not a matter of whether you believe in it or not. It's a matter of looking at the weather events that are happening around the world and asking yourself, why are these happening? What has changed? What have we done collectively as a world that is creating this, that this is the aftermath of our own actions? And that's where I leave the argument for climate change. I'm not a scientist. So we're going to talk with Christy in Jacksonville in Florida. Are you there, Christy? What a nice part of the world where the sun always shines.
Oh, it's very hot.
Well, that's nice. You can send some of that beautiful warmth over to me because we're very cold here on the Gold Coast.
Oh, okay.
So how can I help you today,
did you
Christy?
ask me a question?
Yeah, do you have a question I can answer for you, Christy?
Oh, well, I am embarking on something new, and I wanted to know if I'll be successful.
Okay. First thing that they're showing me is there's still a little way to go with this, Christy. I know what you're embarking on is not wrong. I feel very strongly you're on the right path. It's just that it's going to take a little bit more time, I think, to really get it to where you want it to be. It's something that you've really put definite determination into. And I know that you've thought about this and planned for this really well, but they're just sort of saying to me, err on the side of caution just a slight little bit as far as the timing. It's not that the project's wrong. It's just going to take a little bit longer to get it to where you're sort of going to be able to exhale and say, right, now I feel comfortable. It's starting to take shape. We're progressing in the right direction. It's going the way that I want it to. Are you involving other people in this, Christy? Because they're showing me that this needs to be your baby. It needs to be your project. I'm not saying you can't have helpers, but the way they're presenting it to me is that if you can get away without having somebody financially being your partner, all the better.
Oh, okay. I don't have that problem, no. It's just my project.
Okay, good, because they were showing me that
very
other
hopeful.
Yeah,
what you're
because they were
saying.
showing me,
So.
yeah, they were showing me other people are going to want to try and come on board with this, as you start to move it along. And that's why I think they were very clear saying if you can remain in control and be, the person that makes the final decisions, the better the project will be, the more successful it will be. If you start bringing in other people so that you can grow it maybe a little bit quicker with extra finances, that's okay as long as they don't have any control over this. You know what I mean? You have to be the one to have the control.
Right.
You have to be the one that drives the car forward. Yeah, and that's really important. They've shown me that 3 times, so that's why I'm going on about it, because they're showing it to me as being really important for you, Christy, but I know you're going to be hugely successful with this. Just before we go, were you planning on maybe making some changes to where you're living? Because they're showing me question marks around where you're living, and I wasn't sure how to interpret that, whether it meant there was a move coming up or whether you're making some changes to your current location.
No, but you're not the first person that has told me that. That's interesting.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'll just leave that with you because they just sort of threw that in at the end and said to me, well, what about this? And I thought, well, you're not really giving me a lot of information. It was just sort of like, this was sort of like I'm adding this on the bottom of the letter as like a PS. So I'll leave that with you, Christy. So have a wonderful day and rest of your night over there. But good luck with your project. I know you're going to be really successful.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're very, very welcome. We're going to talk with Trish in Hull in United Kingdom now. Are you there, Trish?
I am, yeah.
Do you have a question I can work with, please, Trish?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be going on holiday in August. I don't know whether to go. Should I go?
Why are you hesitant about going?
Because I'm frightened to leave my dog.
You're frightened of leaving the dog?
Yeah, for the week.
Okay. Look, I do think you are going to take this holiday and I do think everything's going to be okay, but it's what they're showing me, Trish, is it's not just what you've shared with me as your hesitation about taking this holiday. I think you're a little bit nervous about it for another reason as well. Is that because of, having been through COVID and everything like that, you're still a little bit hesitant about getting out amongst the public?
I've never been on the first time.
Right, okay. No, they're just showing me that, you just seem to be hesitant about taking this trip. But I think the journey itself is going to be good, and I think you're going to come back feeling happy and relaxed and pleased that you went. They're also sharing with me, Trish, that there's other major decisions coming up for you before the end of this year. So are you looking at bringing in some very strong changes into your life before the end of this year?
Yeah, I feel.
Yeah, and they're showing me after September that's when you need to sort of start pushing those changes forward. It's sort of like up until then it's a very slow burn, and it's like you go, you take your holiday, you come back, and then it's sort of, you catch your breath, and then it's sort of like we're on to the next part of these other changes in your life that need to be brought forward. And I want to sort of say to you that you need to sort of relax a little bit more. You're way too tense all the time. And I don't think that's good for your body being so rigid all the time, that you need to sort of relax a little bit, because there is good things coming towards you. And it's not that, you've got to be on guard about anything. Everything's starting to sort of unfold in a very positive sort of way. But I think it's because for so long, Trish, nothing seemed to go the way that you expected it would or you wanted it to, and people let you down. So it's sort of like you became not so much isolated, but you learnt to rely on yourself. That, if you wanted something done, the only person that could do it was you. And I understand that, but they're sort of showing me now that we can relax that a little bit and, allow other people to sort of maybe give you a little hand. You can still have control over it, but, you can delegate a little bit now. So whatever you're doing health-wise, they're showing me keep going. And normally I don't talk about health because I'm not a medical person, but they were just showing me on an energy level, whatever you've changed, whatever you've, tweaked in the last 12 months, keep going, because you are starting to see results. And your body is responding accordingly, and that's good. Brilliant. It's really good. Yeah, so, you've had a lot to deal with, Trish. It's sort of, I think if
I
you
have,
stopped
yeah.
and looked backwards, I think you'd have, you'd almost sort of want to jump off a cliff and think, how did I get to here? Like I've been through so much.
You're right.
Anybody else would have fallen over, but you haven't. And that's just a testament to how strong you are, Trish, but also the fact that you don't give in, like you get up and you keep going again. And now it's going to be your turn to be able to go into the wishing well and have some nice things come back towards you instead of you having to be the one, doing all the hard work. It's going to be your time to be rewarded now. So I wish you the best of luck, Trish. I know that things are going to start to really sort of unfold for you in a much more positive way. So is there only the one dog at the moment, or are we looking to get another one?
No.
I don't know. I can see, I'm no good on the breeds of dogs. I can just see a small, fluffy-looking one that keeps coming up and nipping at your ankles. I don't know whether the dog is certainly attracted to you. The dog is certainly attracted to you, and I don't think the dog that I'm seeing, this new little one, I don't think it's lost. I think it might live close to you, and it keeps.
I've got.
Yeah, well, it's not the one you've got. It's another one coming towards you. So whether this other little one's attracted to your little one that you've got and keeps coming for a visit, wants a play date or something, but this little one's full of energy, full of mischief. And you sort of think to yourself, look, if I can't keep you, you're not mine, but this little one keeps turning up. So I'm sure that the owners aren't too pleased that it keeps getting out and goes tatters and visits you, but, not that they have a problem with you, but just the fact that the little one keeps getting out. I think it's just nice that, when I see animals coming towards somebody that's not theirs, that's usually a good sign from spirit that things are starting to open up for you. But this little one, it just seems to love you and love your little dog. It's sort of almost like you feel sorry for him that you can't adopt him as yours and bring him into the family because he just loves it there. He's just so cute. And I'm saying a he, I'm not sure that it's necessarily a he, but just got a lovely personality and a really cheeky sort of grin he gets on his face, and he's just so excited. It's a very excitable little one, and brings your dog pleasure too. Seeing this one too, it's interesting because I didn't feel your dog was necessarily quite social with other dogs. He's sort of a little bit. This is my territory and go away. It seems to welcome this one with open arms. So it's really interesting because I think this other one is not much out of a puppy stage, still very playful, still plenty of energy, full of, mystery and intrigue and want to stick their nose in places they shouldn't be. So, but it's good. I think you'll probably end up arranging, puppy play dates with the two of them so that the little one doesn't keep getting out trying to come and visit. But, you've got some good things to look forward to, Trish. So I wish you well. And keep going. Whatever you're doing, you're doing okay. And sort of, go and enjoy your trip. I think you need that trip. And the dog will be perfectly fine with whoever's going to look after it. It will be perfectly fine and spoiled. So that's all you need to know. And it'll be good when you're reunited again. Okay. Have a great night, Trish. So it's interesting how we as human beings interact with our animals, and our animals really do become part of our family. And I know for lots of people that is their only part of their family is their animals. They do become their very special companions or their children. So next time you're around somebody that has an animal and they talk about it as if it's like a child or a member of the family, it is to them. Remember that. So this week I want to leave you with a song that most people wouldn't be familiar with by this particular artist. She has the voice of an angel. She's a very, very dear friend of mine, and she's a very, very special person, incredibly talented. She's an artist. She's an author. She is a musician. She's got a beautiful voice. She makes beautiful jewelry. And this particular song came across I was going to say my turntable, but turntable sounds very old. When I was flicking through some videos the other day, this particular song jumped out at me, and I've heard her sing it many, many times before. and I thought I would share it with you this week. It's called You're So Special by the one and only beautiful Terry Cote. Now, most people probably don't know who Terry Cote is. Terry Cote was David Cassidy's drummer. She's a brilliant artist, and she's a very, very talented woman, and she makes a lot of the jewellery that I wear on this show. And it's just a beautiful rendition of a song that if check it out on YouTube. You'll find that it's a lovely song, and I think it's a really nice song to leave you with this week because you are all so special. You're very special to us here at A1R Psychic Radio, here on Moonstruck TV. Without all our beautiful viewers and listeners, we wouldn't have shows here that we have every week from many, many gifted practitioners from around the world. So for this week, for each and every one of you, you're so special with Terry Cote. Bye for now.